Calculate 4 times 6 will give you what? Do the mathematics. Now, that is what a smart student will do. Literature examiners are not looking for intelligent students. They are looking for smart students. Trust me. Have you ever asked yourself why there are not many pages available in literature in English answer booklet? It is because of the intelligent students. They know this. They have read all the recommended text. They have read all of the analysis. In fact, if you wake them up in the middle of the night, they can give it to you word for word. They have learned all the poems by heart. But you see the smart students, they learn out of 2 non-African drama, novel, and the poems. They learn 1, or let's say 1.5. And then they go back to asking and knowing what is needed. Let me shock you. I do not need to study so much for literature in English. I only need to know what it is, read the text, and then I will find out what the examiners are looking for. Imagine an examiner having to mark 300 scripts, and then half of the 300 scripts is filled with stories by intelligent students. Now, it's not enough for you to know the analysis. It's not enough for you to have read the text, to master the poem. Ask yourself, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? It's just like mathematics. There are steps for you to follow. If you do not follow, the steps are what they mark. Just as in mathematics, steps are being marked before the actual mark. So even if eventually you don't get the actual mark, right, at the end of you solving that particular equation, right, you are still going to be rewarded for the steps if you follow the right steps. It's the same with literature examination. If you follow the right steps, it will be easy for you to get the scores. So now, imagine that an intelligent student that has read all the text, had read all the analysis, had mastered all the poems, and the smart student who has read it and then go the extra mile to put in the steps. Or imagine another one. Let's bring in a third person that do not even bother himself or herself, to read this set text. They already know what to do. Imagine them having to see the question paper and then knowing that they have to answer one question in African drama, one question in non-African drama, one question in African prose, one question in non-African prose, one question in African poetry, one question in non-African poetry. And all of these questions, the first paragraph has to be the major theme. That is being smart. Now, the smart candidate would make sure that he or she covers all of the first paragraph which deals with the theme. Now, let's imagine that candidate is going to score maybe 4 in that area. Now, calculate 4. Calculate 4 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Calculate 4 times 6 will give you what? Do the mathematics. Now, that is what a smart student will do. Now, a smart student have already struck out 6 compulsory paragraphs, and that 6 compulsory paragraph, let's say the examiner is very stingy. Examiner doesn't want to give you the full marks for all of those first paragraph and gives you 4 across 6 questions, 4 across 6 answers. You know what that means? Take it aside. Smart candidates will also pick African drama, non-African drama, African prose, non-African prose, and look at the question that has a character's name mentioned in the question. Now we have 1 African drama, 1 non-African drama, 1 African prose, 1 non-African prose. That is 4 questions. And then the smart candidate goes on to write the second paragraph. Character description for African drama, character description for non-African drama, character description for African prose, character description for non-African prose. That is 4 times 4. Remember that there is already 4 times 6 that is waiting for him. Now, he has 4 times 4. Calculate that. Put it aside. Now, the smart candidate goes to section C, African poem and non-African poem, and sees, is there anyone that he needs to define a key term? Is there anyone that he needs to define? And then he does it. Second paragraph, definition of term. Second paragraph, definition of term. 4 across 6. Put it aside. Now, there is compulsory paragraph 1 and compulsory paragraph 2, which had given the candidate how many marks already? Now, note that that candidate had not even started answering the question. Now, judge for yourself. If that candidate puts his or her best in the objectives, do you think that that candidate is going to fail? Your guess is as good as mine. So, before you prepare for the next WAEC, NECO, GCE, literature in English, make sure that you put all of these factors in place. I'll see you in my next lesson. Bye.